Listen, I've been max glazing incessantly. I won't stop praising the dude. I've said on a gazillion occasions now that I think that dude could go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest F1 peddlers that we've ever seen. And that means that I've had to pick some fights off of the Charles Fossey, off of Colt LH. And empathy isn't something that I've leaned on necessarily. I've been starting fights off of all fan bases at the altar of Max Verstappen being great. And so I think this is probably as good a time as any to lean into some empathy. And so with that in mind, front and centre of, I think now's the time that I take a step back and see the empathy wood for the empathy trees and say, genuinely, I want to take this time to say, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to apologise to absolutely nobody. Did you not see this drive from Maximilian Verstappen? What do you mean? All of the Max Verstappen naysayers need to take 2, no 3, no 4 seats on the back of this latest drive at Brazil 2024. What do you mean? And if past his prologue, then we should have known this was coming. 2016 wasn't a gazillion miles different from what we saw today. This was a generational drive. Put some respect on that dude's name. And for the avoidance of doubt, if you don't believe me, that dude goes from 17th on the grid to first over the course of 40 laps. A rain strewn 40 laps, by the way. Monsoon conditions you couldn't even see. By proxy, if you look at the other drivers on the grid, a George Russell, say, or a Lando Norris, or a Sir Lewis Hamilton, they can't even overtake anybody. So treacherous are the conditions. Max Verstappen nails 16 of them in 40 laps, makes them all look like they're driving a different formula. What do you mean? Max Verstappen, they say, he can't face down adversity. The naysayers say, put some pressure on him. How about that? Let's see what he does then. Max Verstappen is an Adrian Newey merchant. What can he do if he doesn't have the fastest car? Well, you have all your answers in that drive today, because for the avoidance of doubt, he didn't have the fastest set of 4 wheels. Lando Norris did. How did that work out for him? Adversity in buckets. Again, the timing of the safety car yesterday, the timing of the red flag, the FIA expletive gate, him getting a different penalty to what Charles Leclerc got for saying exactly the same words. How about that for adversity, ladies and gents? Now, listen, for the avoidance of doubt, the Maximilian Verstappen naysayers need to take 2 seats on the back of the performance that we saw today. And if you think that that wasn't rarefied air that Maximilian Verstappen, 3, soon to be 4-time champion, was breathing, let me give you this. There's been 1,121 races in Formula 1. Do you know how many times somebody's won a race from 17th on the grid or lower? 5 times. Truly rarefied air that Maximilian Verstappen is breathing in. If we double click on the performance in and of itself, how many overtakes did he pull on the first lap? 6. These other bods, the other 19 up and down the grid, barely make 1 overtake over the course of the 69 laps. Max Verstappen nails 6 drivers in 1 lap. The first one, the most treacherous of rainy conditions when you don't know where the grip is. Max Verstappen has this knack. Again, if we're going to double click on exactly what this dude is doing, he knows where the grip is on all of the turns before you even get there. Oh, and woe be the rest of them. Once he finds out where the grip is, as an example, up the inside of turn 1, he's going to nail every single one. Leverage that, weaponize that to his advantage. That is his gift. Where the other 19 are driving messy, going off as near as makes no difference every single bloody corner, struggling, wrestling with the changeable conditions. This dude, Max Verstappen, is just inevitable, ominous. He's like Jaws, isn't he? Like a shark seeing blood when he overtakes the rest of them. Please see Esteban Ocon on the second restart as your first case in point. Nails him up the inside, establishing exactly where the grip is going into turn 1, and makes Esteban Ocon, one of the greatest drivers in the world, one of the best 20, look like an amateur. For the avoidance of doubt, this dude is driving a different formula now. He's impeccable, ridiculous, God tier, some may say. He will go down on the Mount Rushmore of F1 now. Just take that to the bank. This isn't up for debate now. If you are invested in excellence as far as sporting endeavour is concerned, well, then you've just seen it. That's your exhibit A, B and C. What Max Verstappen did at Brazil today makes the others look like they're going backwards. And for the avoidance of doubt, they are the other best 19 drivers in the world. And he's just doing it different, right? Barely makes a bloody mistake. All of his overtaking manoeuvres impeccable, but positions the car like he's PhD in geometry. Absolutely different caliber. And this all on the back of adversity for days. Again, the FIA, he will feel like they are persecuting. He drops another bull feathers bomb expletive in the press pen after qualifying. Again, he feels persecuted not only by the FIA, but by the British biased media, he will say in inverted commas, and by the racing gods for his fortuitous circumstances or lack thereof. I said before the race that Max Verstappen will feel at home once he puts the helmet on and is in wet conditions, racing against these other dudes who are struggling with it. Max Verstappen, oh no. Why? Because he's got his 200,000 as near as makes no difference, deliberate hours worth of practice, and he sees all of this as if he's Neo in the Matrix. It's ridiculous. And if you need further evidence of what we saw today, after catching Esteban Ocon with the 29 laps remaining, that dude gaps Esteban Ocon to the tune of 20 seconds, just to show you the full extent of his dominance, the range and gambit of the weaponry in his armour. And then he goes and does fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap. Purple laps back to back to back for as near as makes no difference, 17 laps. I was worried that that dude was going to do like Senna did back in the day at Monaco and push too far. But I need not worry because that dude is not Senna. That dude is Maximilian Verstappen. Listen, for the avoidance of doubt, I think there is only one driver on the grid who could have driven like he did today. Who could have made that look so easy and impossible as near as makes no difference drive in Brazil in conditions that were unfavourable to all of those drivers. Changeable conditions is more techie than wet conditions because you don't know turn by turn, lap by lap, where the grip is going to be at its best. Max Verstappen again, though, makes it look easy, doesn't he? Makes it look like he's Neo in the Matrix. You know the final scene where Neo turns around and starts blocking Agent Smith's punches with one hand. That's what Maximilian Verstappen was doing today. Keen to show you the levels that he's dealing with. Let me read out these numbers again for the avoidance of doubt as we round third base. 40 laps in, 17th to first. There's been 1,121 races in F1 since 1950. A chap has won from 17th place on the grid or lower only 5 times. Only 5 times. That's the rarefied air that this dude is breathing. You saw how he overtook Esteban Ocon on the restart, and you saw that this dude nailed, just like Ayrton Senna did in Donington in 1993. No less than 6 cars on the first lap. That's Maximilian Verstappen. That was a god-tier performance from the chap today. Maximilian Verstappen naysayers across the board, irrespective of their colour and creed, need to put some respect on that chap's name, on the evidence that we saw today. Why? Because the beauty in having a mind is the ability to change it in real time on being presented with new evidence. As far as Max Verstappen's concerned, 2024 Brazilian Grand Prix is all the evidence lovers and haters should ever need as to the calibre, the rarefied air that the Dutchman, the 3 soon to be 4-time champion, is breathing. What are we doing here?